Hello and welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. Today I am going to be working on a journal that is different from any journal I've made before. I saw one, it caught my attention, and I thought this is the perfect project for what I've been looking for. And so I just started making it, and then I thought, well, you all may want to follow along and see it, so if you wanted to make one too. So what I have here, it was an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and since this is a cascading journal, I decided what I wanted my first flap to be. And I do not know if this is the correct way to make one of these or not, because I just saw one, I didn't see a tutorial, so I'm just making this up as I go. And so I do want to show you, I have some red paint on my hands, and these are not cuts. I've been spray painting this weekend, and I've washed and washed and it won't come off. So we're just going to have to deal with that today, so hopefully that doesn't bother you. So let's get back to the project. So I have this already cut down where I fold it in half, once again I'll say, and then I cut the flap. Okay, so then I dug through my bin. So I just dug through my bin, and I have a bin full of junk mail and stuff that I just hold on to. I pull out the good envelopes and then I trash the rest, but I do have that. So I pulled that, and then I have some newer envelopes that I also bought. So I went ahead and started layering it. So I want to show you what I've done so far. So first off, I have this card, and it just came in, you know, when you buy a pack of card bases, that's what this is. And so I thought that would work good in there. And then I took one of these brown envelopes, and I'm going to put it right here. I think I'll put the card over it. And like I said, I'm just doing this, making this up as I go, and I thought I would show you all. And I do want the things to be kind of staggered, but I'm not sure how much yet. So we'll put that like that. And then I had pulled out another envelope that some card bases came with, and I had added it in. And then I have just a piece of cardstock that was left over from another project, so I just folded it a little, and then I've added it. So I think it's a little bit longer, so it's going to go here, and this will go here. And so I'm just layering things up. I want to stagger it as it goes out. And so then I have a paper bag here, and I've just taken and just folded this piece over because I'm not sure yet if I want to keep it with this flap or get rid of the flap. So let me see where it went. So I kind of want to just, you know, you still want to have things going from longer to shorter. And then I have some junk mail here, so I thought that would go good right here. And then another little envelope, and this is just an envelope. I bought a whole pack of these, I think about 50 of them at the Dollar Tree years ago, and I've not used them all. So far you see that it's starting to stagger out. And so I've got some cardstock here because I want to add some more cardstock in. And what I'm thinking is cutting it. So you see when you look back through here, all these flaps, I have all of these flaps that's here. So I can easily, you know, attach it to one of these flaps. So I thought that I would just cut one down. You know, let's see what size this is when you, it's 5.5, that's right, because I folded it in half. So it's actually 5 3/4. Maybe I didn't fold it totally in half. So that's 5 3/4. It should be okay. I was thinking I may need to cut it down, but so I'm going to take a piece. So I'm going to change what I said before. This one is 5 3/4. So I must not have folded it. I don't know where the extra piece is that went with it. Maybe it was like this. So actually I left the back basis at 5 3/4 and then folded this over, but it doesn't matter. It's only off by 1/4 inch. So of what I said. So now if this is 5 3/4, I think I just want to cut this one 1/4 smaller, which would be 5 1/2. And I don't think that this journal has to have specific measurements. I think all you want to do is just try to, for what I'm going to do with this, the way I'm going to make it a countdown, I already have ideas how I want to decorate it now. And for how I want to do this, I think I'm going to do it right here. Then that's all that's going to matter, is that everything kind of layers out. And I may have made that too short. I don't know. I can always pull it out a little bit because the little, and when we glue it together, I'll show you better. So, because I got these thoughts in my head, and I'm afraid I'm not getting them totally out to you. But just so that you understand, everything just needs to keep layering out. And I need 12, since I'm going to count down to Christmas, 12. And so even though that means there'll be 24 pages, she can still use this as her Christmas, you know, put pictures in it from Christmas or Christmas journaling and stuff. So once she gets all the little gifts out, she could use it as a journal as well. So I'm okay with it having 24 pages, because once you have 12 in, of course you're going to have the other side, which would be 24. And so those, you know, those will be for where she could journal or she could add things. So here is that one. And then for the red one, I think, where do I want to layer the red in? It doesn't necessarily have to be at that flap. Let's see here. Maybe, just trying to see. I do have a lot of shorter ones. Let's see how many we have so far. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. That'll be something's got to be added to this one because it's short. 8 and 9. So I need, so what if I made this one where it folds, so it sticks in just a little there. I may have to trim this envelope off just a little to make this work. But I think I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to fold it here just so it's layered a little. And then, where's this? So I'm just going to fold it like this. Oops, that may be too far. Let's just see here. Yeah, I'll have to cut some off. Okay, so let me just fold it in half here. Let me get it straight. And like I said, I'm just going to be thinking this through with you all, so bear with me and we'll get this made. So then I want to cut it so that it blends in. Okay, I'm going to take this out here. I want it to be shorter than, I want it to be behind this one. So I just need to cut off about, let's cut off about 1.5 inches first, and off this one side. And then we'll put it back in the book and we'll decide where everything else needs to be cut. So we're just going to put it here, and then we do it like this. And I kind of like the chunkiness, the layeredness of this already. Okay, so then the red one will need to be, I can take this one out here and put it behind there. So then I kind of like that red one there like that though, in the very back. So then what if I put this one in right here? And so if I do, I need to trim it down just a little. You're going to have some pages that are going to be on the same length. There's no way to, I think it's just going to be too hard to cascade it all, but there we go. So there we have, I think that looks good because we have different layers. Might pull this one out just a little. And I may, like I said, trim that envelope down just a little and then glue it shut. So now let's just see here. I don't think I'm going to glue it together. I'm actually going to sew it. But before I sew it, I like to line my envelopes so that when they're bending a lot and being used, let me get back down where you see, when you're bending them a lot and using them, they don't tear. So I like to thicken up the envelopes because a lot of envelopes are thin. So what I've done is I've just printed some background sheets from the kit that I'm using, and the kit that I'm using is from My Porch Prints. It's one of her Christmas kits, and I've printed some of the background sheets, so that's what I'm going to use to line the envelopes. So let me get my paper trimmer because we'll have to just do this as we go. So I'm not going to fill the whole envelope. What I'm going to do is just, you know, slide down in far enough so that it just thickens it up. So let me trim some here. Okay, so I thought I would show you really quick how what I was talking about for the envelopes. So what I've done is I've just taken and cut down pieces to fit the envelopes so that they just fit right down inside there. And they don't, see, there's not going all the way down in there. It's just enough to, you know, cover this flap and just cover where it bends so that it kind of strengthens it so it doesn't tear. And then what I'm going to do is I'll show you with this one, and then I think most of you probably know how to do this, but this is great, you know, I know beginners need to see, so that's why I'm going to share with you how I do it, and then I'll only do one, and then I'll come back with the rest of them already done. So that way, if you are a beginner, you do understand how I'm doing this. Because I like to be sure that you, when I'm teaching something or showing something, I want you to be able to understand what I'm doing and what's going on. So I'll just pull that little piece off, so we got a little sticky there too. And then I'm just going to push it down in there before it grabs hold. Go over here so I can hold it back. Okay, let's see how we can get that in there. It's kind of difficult sometimes to get them to slide down in there, but that's okay, we'll get it. And I don't even know if these will show, but I wanted to use matching papers in case it does show. But I'm not even sure that it's going to show because I'm not even sure that it's going to show because I don't know how I'm going to decorate these up yet. But I just want to strengthen it. The whole purpose of this is to strengthen the envelope so that when I sew it in the book, then there's no issue with it tearing and coming loose. So that's all. And then what you want to do is just refold it on that line. And you probably have to use your bone folder or something to press down on it. So that's just something I do to strengthen it. So that makes it a lot stronger. Your paper normally is strong enough. It's just that your envelopes, especially these envelopes that are just junk mail envelopes, they're not going to be strong enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through and cover all these, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've gone ahead and lined the envelopes, and I think that that's going to help strengthen them. I like that, to do that each time. And then I was counting. I'm going to use this as my cover, so that's not going to be one of the numbers. So I'm going to number these. So let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 9, 10. I guess I'm going to count this one, even though, yeah, I'll count it. 9, 10, 11. So I need one more page. So I'm just going to look and see what I have scrap-wise of my cardstock. Okay, since I need one more page, I'm going to take this brown envelope and I am going to, so I'm going to open this up here. I'm going to fold it here. See how I'm doing that? I'm doing it so that I can make sure that it is layered really closely to that, but not the same length. So if I press it there, and see there we have more layers. You can see more, and I actually can make it a little smaller. So what I'm going to do is just fold it right here and press. Now, did I make it larger or smaller? Let's take a look. Okay, that's perfect. I like how I did that. So that is going to be perfect. So I'll have to just cut it down the middle here, since it's going to be sewn in there if I don't. And then you'll have to cut just like a little angle here, because if you don't, then it's just going to sew it shut. And then we'll cut this one at an angle as well. There we go. And that way they can be sewn in. And I'll probably go back and round the corners. Okay, so there we have all of our layers. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have 12 pages. So that's what we need. So that is the base of our journal. So now I just want to line up all the things. I want to make sure that everything's going to be caught by the sewing, but I am going to kind of zigzag it all, like overlap in different ways like that, where different things is lapping. And I kind of like how that looks now. And I'm going to take out this one. This is the page that we got to glue in. I'm going to take it out until I'm through sewing. So now, this one's a little bit more difficult for me, since this is the first time I've done this, but let's just take and clip it together, and then we'll have it ready to sew. And it's going to be a little harder to clip, since maybe I'll have to paper clip it. Let me get some longer paper clips out. Okay, so let's just get some paper clips, and let's just paper clip it together so that I can sew it, because everything is not up to the top or to the bottom. So let me see here. I think I'll paper clip it, and then I'm going to look and see if I like the looks of it, and if I don't, then I'll just come back and rearrange things. So right here, I feel like everything is going towards the bottom too much. So I'm going to pull some of these to the top some. I think this bag could go up some. There we go. And then let's take this one up some. Let's see here. And so what I'm doing is, this is just fussing with it now. I'm just trying to see if I can have some things. I like having seeing all the different edges. So I'm trying to just stagger the pieces evenly though, because I don't want to like the top to have all the pieces or the bottom. So it looks like everything is pretty even now. And so I like that. And so I've just got it paper clipped together. I think I'll add another paper clip here to hold it all. And then I think I'll put one down at the bottom here. So I'm going to use 4 paper clips just to hold this together. That way I can sew it together. And then we'll worry about all the other little things in a few minutes. So let's get our little pokey tool, our awl out, and our needle and thread. And then I'm going to do a 5-hole, I'm going to punch 5 holes in this one. So I've punched one in the center here, and then I'm just going to eyeball it and just kind of making them even distance apart, but not exactly. It doesn't have to be anything perfect, and I'm just adding 5 holes. That way, since I am having my papers all go, you know, different heights and in different locations, I want to be sure that I catch them all. Let me see here. I want to be sure that I catch all the papers in my stitching so none comes out. So now I'm just going to do one. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more right here at the end. And so that way we catch all these papers. Since we have all these at different spots, by putting these 5 holes in, we'll catch them. I normally do a 3-hole, and I have done a 4-hole before, but this one I thought the 5 would be best. So we're going to start in the center here with our needle, and I've already threaded my needle with some wax thread. And so I'm going to start in the center. I'm just going to pull it all the way through and just hold the thread there. And then I think I'll just clip the thread. Let me get a little, so I've got my thread inside here, so I'm just going to pull it down to the bottom here and just clip it so that it stays out of my way and it won't be an issue. So I'm just going to clip it right there, and then we can shorten it up once we can trim it off. Okay, so now we started on the inside and went through our center hole. So now we're going to go up to the 2nd hole. We're just going to go in it. And it's not a lot of layers here, so it's pretty simple to get through these holes. And so then I'm just going to pull my needle through. Okay. And then I'm just going to go through the top hole. Just want to pull everything tight. And then I'm going to go back through the 2nd hole down. Just try not to split your threads. Okay, so then we're going to skip the center hole, and we're going to go down to the next to last hole, and we're going to go through it. Oops, and I knocked a paper clip off. Just be sure we're pulling everything tight, and then we want to go through the bottom hole. So we go through that hole and just pull everything tight, and then we're going to go back through the second hole from the bottom. And then just going to pull it through, and then I'm coming back through the center here, the center hole. And I'm just going to come through on the opposite side of my thread. So this thread's on this side. I want the new thread to be on the other side. So if I can get this folded up here, push it in. There we go. And I'm just going to pull it on the other side of this thread right here. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull all my threads tight. So I'm going to unclip that. Make sure everything is tight here. Okay. Just pulling it all tight. Oops. want to make sure. See, I've got that a little loose there. I've got to figure out why it's loose. There we go. There we go. Don't want to rip your book, but you do want to make sure that your binding is nice and tight. So that is nice and tight on the outside, and now it is on the inside. So now I'm just going to trim the threads because we are going to be covering these up. So we're just going to tie a knot, and then we're going to tie another one. I like to tie about 3 knots in it. That should hold it. Okay, and then what we'll do is then we can just take and glue this flap over, and that will seal it up. So let's just go ahead and glue that flap shut, and we'll have our book put together. Okay, so I'm just going to add some glue. And I did line it, but the lining wasn't for looks. It was more to thicken it up, like I said before. But I just used the paper just in case I had put it somewhere else. I'm just going to put a good amount of glue there, and then I'm just going to close it up. And then we're going to cover all this with paper. So there we go. So we have our journal sewn together. Okay, so now that we have all the pages sewn in, it's almost time to start decorating, but we've got to add this page in so that we have all 12 pages that we need. So I've got, so it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm just looking here. So this one could actually be a pocket, extra pocket in the book. So I think I'm going to take and add this one onto this little flap here. So if I add it to that flap, and we have to line it up and down here, I'll have to figure out how far out I want to come with it. Because I'm trying to make my layers all show, or most of them show anyways, and so I want this one to show if I can. So it'll be about like that. If you can just see a little line of it. I know it's hard to see on camera, but there's a little bit of it showing through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach it to that flap, and I'm just going to have it out. I'll make sure like that again. It's about like that. Oops, I almost got glue on another, well, I did get glue on another page. So let's see here. I don't want to put the glue too far in because I'm not going to be covering the whole flap. So I'm just making sure, and then I'm lining the top and bottom of these pages up. So there we go, and so I'll just go right in here, and I'll add just a little bit more glue to be sure that the edge is glued down good. All of our pages in. It's time to start decorating. So I'm going to start decorating. First, I want to do the first page, the cover. And I've already decided if this will fit, I want to put this little birdie, and it says, a simple thought, but nonetheless sincere, to wish you joy and Christmas cheer. So I think that's really cute, and I love that little bird. So I'm going to try to trim it out and add it to the front of the first page. Before I cover it, I think first we should, if I want to cover the spine, now's the time to do it, because if I cover the spine later, I'm going to have to trim this down just a little bit more. But if I'm going to cover the spine later, I will cover this up. So I'm going to add some lace to the spine now. So let me dig out and see what I have here. I'm just going to look and see what's on my desk first, because this might just be a cute little piece to put here. That way it covers up the spine, and then I can put the page on top of it. Let me see. I think so. I think that's what I'll do. So let's see if we can open this book up flat so I can add that to the spine. I was just going to let it show, so that's why I did it brown. But the more I look at it, the more I think I want some lace on it. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to attach the lace. I feel like the Fabri-Tac holds it really good. I know I say this. If you've seen my other videos, you know I say that every time. So what I like to do is just add a line of it down the center. I gotta find the right side of my lace. I think this is the right side. Okay, and so then I just want to attach it right there. We'll trim off a little bit. So then I'm just going to put it down the center there, and then I'll go in underneath it and add another line of the Fabri-Tac That way I don't get any extra glue on my cover that doesn't have to be there. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this side. And there we go. And I better put the lid on it or it'll be oozing out. There we go. So now I'm just going to trim it. And I want to trim this in just a little. It's got some little extra bits and pieces. So I can turn it around here so I can get to it. Not sure why that was so hard for me. Okay, so let's just press it down good into the glue. I think I missed a spot there. Okay, so just add that. So I think that looks good. I like that. See if I can get it all pressed down now. There we go. That looks really good. So now we can add our little piece to the front here. And I'm trying to see if I'm going to have to trim it any more. But I think I can just add it just like that on top of the lace. So what I'll have to do is use Fabri-Tac again so that since it's going on top of the lace. I'm trying to be real careful because this Fabri-Tac is coming out really thick. I mean really fast, excuse me. It's coming out really fast, and so I don't want to put too much on it. I don't want it oozing out everywhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to center it up and down. I'm going to have a little edge on the actual side here as well, and I'm not going to worry about it here because you know you have the lace showing through. So I'm going to get that flat just so I can press it. Get my bone folder. It's got a little glue on it. Let's just do this end. Okay, and just get this all glued down. Good. So there we go. We have our first little cover, and I think that is so pretty. And I don't think the light's washing out the little bird, but there you go. I think he's adorable. So I think he's so cute on the front. So down here, I think the light washes it out and you can't hardly see. So then we just go through, we're going to decorate and add pockets and different things. Okay, so I've gone through and I've cut all the little papers that's going to go on all of the pages. But before I glue them on the pages, I want to turn some of these envelopes into pockets, because like this one, I'm going to cover that up so it won't be a pocket this way. So I've got to decide, you know, how it's going to be a pocket. So I'm just going to cut the edge off of that one. And each page has to be, it's going to have to be a pocket or have a pocket or something glued to it, because, you know, this is going to be a Advent countdown to Christmas, and it's going to have a gift in each one of the pages. So that one is simple. I'm just going to take and open that up. And then for this one, it's hanging off the edge some here. So I've decided that it's going to be a tile pocket, and I'm just going to take and trim the top of it. And I may go back with my whole circle punch and just punch a little half circle in that once I get it covered. So then I'm going to cover all that up. This envelope is already open as a pocket. This one I'm going to use like this. It's going to be a pocket that way. This one's already a pocket. And then this one, I'm going to just cut open the edge here. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to maneuver. I may just trim it with my scissors. Just trim along that edge there with my scissors. I don't think that'll be a problem. I was going to try to trim it with my paper trimmer, but some of these are just not sticking out far enough to do that. So that's fine right there. And then I think that's all of them. So now I'm ready to start gluing the papers on. So I will be back with you and I'll have all the pages glued on. And that's just pretty simple. I'm just going to attach them to them, and I just cut each one so that it has about an 1/8 inch, some sort of little border around it. So that's all I did for these. Okay, so we left off, we were completing the actual base for the journal, and I had gone ahead and cut out the papers to add to my pages. Well, I wanted to show you what this journal looks like when you have it full of the gifts that you're going to give. And yours will look different depending on what gifts you are sending, but it really gets thick and chunky with the gifts. But keep in mind, once they take the gifts out, they have a journal to use during Christmas, because this is just a 12-day countdown. And so I'm going to just let the recipient decide if she wants to use it the first 12 days of December, or if she will use the countdown from December 12th through the 24th. It's really up to whoever receives it. So I'm going to just show you real quick how chunky it was, and then I'm going to take everything out, and I'll be back with you to show you what the actual journal looks like. So before I take all the pieces out, though, I did want to show you something. Here is how I did the tags. So I attached the tags to the gifts with I've just punched a hole through the tags and the number, and then a hole through the little envelope that I was using, and then I've just tied it on. And then once I stick them in the pockets, I take and I just let it hang out. So as you go through the pages, you'll see the tags. Let me see if I can get that on camera. So you have the tags for each one. And so I've done that with each one. It's just attached to the gift, and then it's hanging out. So then the recipient can just pull on the tag and get their little gift out each day. And so each one is numbered so that they know which one for which day. And so here we go through each one. And I've just made some envelopes. Like, this is not an envelope from the kit, but I've just folded some paper from the kit and just made an envelope. And so I've just gone through and done that with a lot of the papers. And then this is just an envelope from the kit. But I've done the same thing. I just hole punched each one at the corner so that I could add the tag for each gift. And so there. So we have 12 gifts in there. So now I'm just going to remove the gifts, and then I'll be back to show you what the journal actually looks like. So here is the actual journal. And you can see I love all the layers that it creates when you make the cascading journal. On camera, I went ahead and added this page to the front, and I know it's washing out the little bird, the lighting in here is. But then I just fussy cut this out of one of the cards from the kit and added some little pearls onto the poinsettia. And then, as you can see, as the layers, these little tabs come in the kit, so I've added those. And then I fussy cut out some bits and pieces that was in the kit on some of the cards, and I just have those sticking out the sides because I love that little chunky look of things sticking out. And so here are the pages, and so I've just added that to the corner, and then this is one of the pockets. And so if you wasn't sending this with gifts, what you could do, there's another pocket there. What you could do is just put tags and cards into it. And I have added tags and cards in some spots, but with the gifts it is hard to add more in, so I do have some in there. And so you have pockets on just about every page. See, that's a pocket as well. And then I added a pocket here. And then for this one, I have a pocket here for a card. And then I also have the pocket for the gift. And so then this page, the pocket is from the kit. I put on the back, and I put a card in it, and the gift will go in there as well. And then in here is another pocket. And then, as you can see, once they've got all their gifts out, they do have spots for journaling and adding pictures. And so what I did here, this was the paper bag, the end of it sticking out. So I've just glued it down as a pocket, and I did put a gift in it, but then I have a card once they take the gift out. And I'll probably go through and add more cards and tags in here so that when they do take the gift out, they have tags to put in these pockets. And so here's another pocket. And this page on the back side is the pocket, and I've just taken the envelope that was a flap sticking there, and I've just added one of the journaling cards from the kit, and I've attached it, and then I've glued it here at the bottom so that it's just a tuck spot like that. And then we have our last page. So that's a quick little flip through of this journal, but I think that it really turned out like I wanted it to. I really love how it turned out, and I think it would be a fun journal just to add pictures and journaling in. I like the idea of adding the gifts to it. That was the whole purpose of it. But I also think I will make one of these for myself sometime just to add pictures to and to journal in, because I think it's fun to have the different size pages going in a certain or going in an order like this, cascading down. Oh, and I forgot to add that I did add just a little bit of lace here at the back. So I had lace here and then lace at the back. And so I didn't add a lot of more decorations as far as lace or ruffles to this, since it is so chunky. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.